Welcome to my podcast, Cool Down with Abhay, where I bring in different people from the sports industry to come and engage in conversation with me so that you and I can learn more about the Indian sports ecosystem. Let's get right into it. Hey guys, welcome to today's episode of Cool Down with Abhay, and I'm super excited about this episode because my guest today is Ramon Calderon, who was the 16th president of Real Madrid and was also a club director at one point. He has been the vice president of UEFA's Club Competition Committee and the director of FIFA World Club Cup Committee, being an active and prominent participant and collaborator with both UEFA and FIFA. Before we get into the episode, I want to give a huge thank you to the Indian Football Portal for making this episode possible. Let's get right into it. All right, so first of all, Ramon, it's a huge pleasure to be able to interview you. So thank you so much for being here. I thought we could start right at the beginning. So you used to be a lawyer in Palencia. So how did you make the transition from a lawyer to football?
When I was a kid, as it is normal, what I wanted to be is a player, not a director of a president. But I hadn't skill enough to do that. And I became a lawyer, as you said. I came to Madrid after being 2 years in London, working as a lawyer also. And then I started to be involved in the life of the club. I became a member, and finally I joined the board of directors. And finally, I was the president from 2006 and 2009. I'm very proud of that. It's a great responsibility, as you know, because millions around the world are really looking at you, looking at what you are doing, and they are really happy when we win, but they are very sad when we are losing. And in our club, to win is an obligation. That's a problem because you cannot win always, but as in other clubs, to win is a joy, it's happiness. Here is an obligation. That's why this club is so successful. It's very demanding in any sense. And that's why in the last 47 years, only one coach, Del Bosque, has been more than 3 years in our bench. That means how difficult, how much pressure has this club. Even today, Zidane has announced that he leaves the club.
Yeah.
Today. So he's been the most successful coach of our history. But the criticism is too high in some cases, and he's decided to leave.
Yeah, that's true. It's one of the greatest clubs in the world. Growing up in Palencia, did you support them as a kid, and did you ever imagine that you would actually become the president of Real Madrid?
Of course not. As I told you, my idea was to be a player. Yeah. And I couldn't. I haven't talent and skill for that. And so the other things in life come little by little. You don't really imagine what you are going to be when you are grown up in any sense. And of course, in this case, being the president of Real Madrid wasn't in my dreams.
Nice. So after joining the club in 2006, you played a big part in setting up what was like the second Galacticos and made big signings in Ian Robin, Ruud van Nistelrooy, Schneider, Pepe, Marcelo, Higuain, lots of which went on to define the last decade of Real Madrid's success in Europe. So I want to know, what was the idea behind such high quality signings, which eventually led to their first title after a 4-year drought, if I'm correct, right?
This club has always been trying to sign the best players of the world. It's our idea of what a club must be, of this club must be. We started in 1950s with Di Stefano, Copa, Puskas, all those big players. So we needed to be in that way when I became president. And it was a very difficult moment because we came from 3 years without winning any single title. That was the first time in history that happened. So we needed to change many players, I think 12, 14. Petja Mijatovic, my sporting director, did a fantastic job in signing all those players you've mentioned. And also after that, Cristiano Ronaldo. And it was really a good time because changing all those players and mainly changing the mentality of the players coming to Real Madrid. We managed to win 2 La Liga titles in a row in an impressive performances against a rival like Barcelona with the best players at that moment and at the best moment also. I'm talking about Xavi, Iniesta, Messi, Puyol, all of them. And they were very fit, was the best time for them. And we managed to beat them the second year with, I think, 8 points ahead, 18 points ahead, 1-8. Wow. And winning the title 4 weeks before the end. So it was really amazing. I'm very proud of having done that because it wasn't easy.
Absolutely. So during your time at Real Madrid, I think you were the one behind Real Madrid social responsibility programs. So I want to know, was there a reason that you had extra work in this field?
Real Madrid as a big club need to give back to society what society has given us. And when I'm talking about my time with Real Madrid in conferences and about what it means for many people, what it meant for me when I was there, I always show at the end pictures from my time with the cups, with the trophies, and pictures with the kids of many academies, schools I opened around the world. And when I visited them with the people, kids surrounding me, hugging me, I'm giving them shirts signed by the players and pins and so on. And to see the smile of those kids is something very rewarding. For me, it was much better than any trophy the club won when I was the president. And we did that not looking for talent, but trying to help poor kids and poor areas of poor countries. And that's, as I said, is very, very rewarding. To see the smile of a kid has no value. Perhaps it's the most important thing that you can see in life. And that's why I tried to open as many schools as I could, and also to visit them very often and to talk to the kids, giving them gifts, mainly pictures and shirts from the players signed by them, and pins, and well, all those things that, of course, balls, everything that kids really like to have, all with the crest of Real Madrid. And as I said, for me, was the most important thing, and it's what I have in my heart when I've left the club.
Nice. So you touched on what I like about this is it actually shows how football clubs, especially the big football clubs, can impact society in such a positive way. And in a way, it's their responsibility to do so. Don't you think so?
Of course, no doubt. A big club, and Real Madrid is the biggest. We were awarded the title of the best club of the 20th century, which means to be the best club of the football history.
Yes.
And we do that. We need to be close to the people, trying to make them feel that we really like the fans, that we know that we are what we are just because of them. And mainly the kids, as I said, that the dream they have when you see their faces, the joy, the happiness, the smile when they see those players coming to. Used to do that at Christmas time. I went with the Spain in different parts of the world, and when they saw those players and myself giving them those gifts, they were their faces changed completely, and that's something that you cannot pay with money. That's for me is the most important thing in life, and I said for me it was the most rewarding part of my time with Real Madrid.
Absolutely, that's beautiful. So, Archis mentioned earlier how you broke thousands and thousands of Manchester United fans' hearts, including myself, when you had orchestrated the Cristiano Ronaldo deal with a transfer fee of around 94 million from United to the Los Blancos. At the time, it was one of the biggest signings in world football. So I was wondering if you can give us a sort of backstory of that transfer. I've seen many times Alex Ferguson speaking about how Madrid was trying for a long time before they actually got Ronaldo. So I was wondering if you can share the other side of the story.
It was very difficult, as you can imagine. At that time, Ronaldo, along Messi, was the best player of the world. United didn't want to let him go, and I managed to do that after 2 years talking to the directors of United because the player wanted to come. That was the main part of the story. When a player like him wants to leave a club, you have to accept that, and then the point is to negotiate with the club that he wants to go. I had on the opposite way, I have the experience with Robinho. He came to my office one day and said, I know you've signed Cristiano Ronaldo. I'm not going to be the star of this team, so I want to leave. And that's at that moment I thought it was the best thing to do. I talked to Man City at that time. Is where the club who wanted to sign Robinho, and we did that. And with Ronaldo was the same. After a few weeks and months of negotiation, finally I agreed to pay £8 million. At the time was 94 million euros. It seemed to be a huge amount of money, but at the end it was the cheapest signing of Real Madrid. We managed to win with him 4 Champions Leagues, 2 La Liga, 3 titles, I don't remember, and he helped a lot of just increasing our reputation around the world. It was amazing to have him with us, but as you said, not easy at all. But finally we got it, and he was going to come 1 year before, and but I remember being in Bogota with the club where we played the friendly match, and he called me, he phoned me saying, Mr. President, I'm sorry, I cannot go this year as I promised you, because I had special gratitude to United fans, to the club, to Ferguson, who is like a father for me. So I promised them to be 1 more year, then I'll go with you as I promised, and we will sign the contract in December 2008, as we did. And an anecdote is that Ferguson doesn't like very much Real Madrid. He saw us as the main rivals, to be the leaders in the world. And he said, okay, he told Cristiano, okay, you're leaving. I accept that. I have to accept that. I cannot say no, but let me talk to Barcelona. And he offered the player to Barcelona, but the player said no. I had a commitment with Mr. Calderon, with Real Madrid. I'm going to Real Madrid, and no doubt. Even the Barcelona is offering me a bit more money. I'm not going to Barcelona. I want to join Real Madrid. I think it's my opportunity. And for sure, for him and for Real Madrid, it was a very good signing. He got a lot of personal rewards, Ballon d'Or, Champions League, as I said. And the players like Cristiano give a lot to the club, but always the Real Madrid give much more to the players. Our history, our reputation gives a lot to the players, and it was the case for Cristiano Ronaldo too.
Right. It ended up being one of the most successful transfers in the world, leading to so many titles, individual and team. I was wondering, well, when you heard about the move to Juventus, how did you feel about that? Did you think it was too early, or it was the right decision?
I think it was a very big mistake for the current president to do that. I think it was something that we are still just regretting. We are still missing him. he scored 50 goals or more per season. That's impossible to replace. There's no replacement for a player like him. But it was also a mistake, I think, for the player to leave because, well, he's noticing that with Juventus, a very, very important club in the world, no doubt, a huge club. But we have something more. Our history has given us a lot of reputation, good reputation and prestige around the world, and that's why we've won 13 La Liga Champions League. That's really amazing. I don't know how long will pass until anyone is going to get that many titles, and I think for both parties it was a mistake.
Absolutely. So let's move on to something recent. Around 1 month ago, the top clubs of Europe attempted to make a breakaway league from the traditional football pyramid that exists in the European Super League. So I was wondering, what are your thoughts about the European Super League, and is it something that you would have supported if you were at Real Madrid?
It's clear that it's been a terrible mistake in many senses, in the way they introduced that to the people at midnight with a simple notice in news in the website of the club saying that they were creating a new competition. And also the moment. I think in this time with many clubs are suffering, economically speaking, because of the pandemic, you need solidarity and unity, not just doing the opposite as they try to do. And also it's clear that it wasn't mature at all, because in 48 hours it was finished. So that means that they didn't know really what they are going to do. And you cannot introduce a project that in theory is going to change the world of football, and doing that at midnight, and then going to, like Perez did, to a program midnight in Spain called El Chiringuito, is the beach bar. You may understand the content of that program. And on top of that, not saying anything. Even now, today, we don't know what that project was about. If it is, in fact, in something that is going to change the football world, you need to do that in a public event with that project, with a program of the competition, with the money they were going to give to the other clubs, because they said they were going to help many clubs, but they didn't say, they haven't said yet in which way and what was the kind of the competition. I think it was a big mistake. Not naturally, fans have taken down that project, because mainly in England, fans have very clear the idea of meritocracy, that you, in sport as in life, you have to get what you deserve, not take for granted anything. And that's what they try to do, trying to create an elite club with 12 clubs that getting all the money from football clubs, but saying to the rest of the club, you keep with the academies, keep spending money, because you are going to give us still many players, but be careful, you are not going to be with us. If you are among the 4 top in La Liga, you are not going to play the Champions League, because you don't deserve that. So really, just the opposite of what football means in life. And I think it's been we have been very lucky that doesn't happen. And I think UEFA did things in the right way. I hope they are not going to punish us. I wouldn't like that, of course, but it's true that UEFA did what they have to do. Just being against that. FIFA at the beginning was a bit mild, weak, not saying exactly that they were opposing the project, but finally they did. I think Fantino, I know him well, thought it wasn't a good idea. Then now we are still where we were, and I think for football is the best thing to happen.
You mentioned the fans in England and how they played such a huge part in ensuring that their clubs don't take part in this league. What do you think sets them aside, and how come the fans in Spain and Italy haven't reacted in the same manner?
We didn't. I think it was a pity that we hadn't the same opposition here. Maybe because the media hasn't been analyzing properly the project. They weren't criticizing in any sense this project, which has many opportunities to be criticized, and that fans didn't realize really what was going on with this project. They thought that having mainly in Madrid, they thought that there was the way to have Mbappe and Holland and all those big players here, but they didn't analyze properly the project, and mainly with Real Madrid. I think our president was very not taking into account that this club belongs to the members. We are 93,000 members. We are not a company. We are a non-profit association. And all the presidents say, we always say that this is a club that belongs to the members. And in this case, we members didn't know anything about the project. And we haven't been asked about if we liked it or not. I think it was really very bad, the idea of doing that in the way they did. And it's a pity, as you said, that in England, English fans showed that they really know what is the meritocracy and what that means. And take into account also that the fans who were demonstrating against this project were precisely the fans of the clubs who were benefited by this project. They were Man United, Man City, Arsenal, Liverpool. All those clubs were going to be in this competition. So it's more relevant.
Absolutely. So I think there are 3 clubs still left who haven't backed out of the league. What do you think was going to happen to them? Real Madrid, Barcelona, and Juventus.
I've read that UEFA has opened a file, has started a file about what that meant for if they broke the rules, in which way, and which can be the sanctions. I hope, as I said, that we are not going to be sanctioned. I think it was a mistake of the president, but the club has not to pay for that. It's not the club to be blamed for what the president has done in a wrong way. And that's, as I said, I hope we are going to be able to play the Champions League. As always, we are not going to have a transfer embargo. That can be another possibility of being obliged to pay a fine. I hope not. And then finally, we can be in those competitions as always, in the domestic competitions too. I don't know what Barcelona and Juventus think, but in my case, as a member of Real Madrid and very close to this club, I think we need to leave the competition. But the president is insisting in that, very stubborn about that. we have to be there. And he says, I don't know if he's like the naked emperor, that he still says that this project is alive, even though the JP meaning that they apologize about being supporting this project. But as I said, the president is living another world, saying that this is still alive, that nothing happened, and they are going to go on with the project.
Absolutely. So I hope that issue gets resolved as soon as possible. So during your time at Real Madrid, you signed a vast majority of the best players from around the world. So which has personally been your best or your most proudest signing, and how and why?
Well, many of them. But if you talk about the results and what they gave to Real Madrid, I think Cristiano for sure is the one who brought us more titles, more trophies, more victories, and better results. But I'm very proud of many of all of them, in fact. But I have to remember Cannavaro, Van Nistelrooy, really examples of players. Also the ones I had: Raúl, Guti, Iker Casillas, Pepe, Higuaín, Robben, Marcelo. So many of them. I still have good relationship with most of them. I talk to them sometimes it's nice to remember what we lived, mainly that the first La Liga title, where when 2 minutes to the end, we were losing 0-1. We needed to win that match, and finally we managed to win for 3-1. And just before scoring the goals, Van Nistelrooy and Beckham were injured, and I thought we cannot now score goals. We are going to lose this title. It's a pity, but finally Reyes, the player who died, unfortunately, a few months ago, scored 2 goals, and Diarra scored the other goal, and we finished winning that title. So to remember with them all those moments is very nice, to know how they are doing in their lives, their kids. So we had a very good relationship, and that's something very, very nice for a president to be friend in some way, because you cannot, you are not playing on the field, but we are on a different level. But my obligation as president was to explain them for what they should mean for them and what they mean for a lot of fans around the world. And I think they liked it. They like it to know that coming to Real Madrid, I always told them, is the beginning of your career. You don't think that when you come here, everything is done. The talent and skill doesn't win anything. It doesn't come with endeavor, with hard work, training hard, being focused only on what you are doing on the field. That was very important message for them. As in life, there are many, I'm sure you, like me, we know many people, very talented, very skillful, that are just a very bad results in life because they thought it was enough. Being smart, being having talented is not enough in life. You need much more. And sports, football is not different.
Absolutely. So you spoke about how you have a great relationship with most of the players that you have signed. Could you explain how you've maintained that relationship, since like regularly presidents don't usually have heart-to-heart conversations with players? So what was it like for you, your relationship with the players?
I thought it was, as I said, needed to do that when they came to a big club like Real Madrid. Most of them come from very, very important clubs, but Real Madrid is something different. I always repeat this because it's true. This is a very demanding club. And that, why? Mainly because the fans that are following Real Madrid are fans linked to the success, not really being linked for a regional or local relationship with the club, because 75% of the people who live in Madrid, including myself, weren't born in Madrid. So that means that we are really, we like this club since we were kids. Like it happened to me in Palencia, a very small city in the center of Spain, that I was really enthralled with this club, with the excellence, with the way they play, with the way they did things. And so it was important to talk to them, to the players. And this is what I did. I tried to be a friend in the sense of explaining them what they are going to find in Madrid and in our club. And that's why I did it.
So I've always wondered, Real Madrid, their philosophy in for players has always been that sort of galactico mentality, right? Where you always have to go buy the best players in the world. So what is the mindset towards the youth at the club, and how important is it?
The youth players?
Yes.
Well, of course, very important. In fact, now that's the time to rely on them. We are going to be in trouble to sign again big players because of the pandemic. It has hit us very hard, but in a more important way than to other clubs that are companies that can increase the capital. We don't have capital, share capital, so we need to rely on our own resources. And on top of that, we are involved in a very huge investment in the new stadium. So that means that we cannot really have too much money to sign big players if we don't sell some of the ones we have already. So it's the moment to rely on young players. There are some of them that have come up in the last matches. just doing quite well, performing quite well. We trust. We have to trust them. It's not easy for the coaches to do that because I said before, people is very demanding. People who attend Bernabeu Stadium are very demanding. They don't like to see players that are learning. They want to players that come already being stars and they know how to win titles and matches and being in difficult moments. But I think we have to do that. It's obliged. We've been very good experienced, having very good experience with other players like Raúl, Iker Casillas, or Guti. They came from the young teams. And for sure, many others must come. And that's what we have to do now, to rely on them.
That's great. So it's been an absolute pleasure to have this conversation with you, and thank you so much for coming on to the show. I'll hand it over to Archis now. Archis, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Okay, Ramon, thank you for your valuable time. I'm sure the Indian football portal viewers will enjoy watching this interview. And the Indian football portal will also like to thank Abhay Rao for conducting this amazing interview. Thanks a lot, Abhay.
Well, it's been a pleasure. We've been a long time trying to have this conversation. It wasn't easy, but fortunately we managed to do that. So I've been very, very glad talking to you. Real Madrid is my passion. The opportunity to talk about that, what we do, how we do it, is always a great opportunity. To do that for a country like India, well, that's really amazing. You have so many people living there that we need to have more fans, even once we already have.
That's true.